Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Jammin' Dude's Neighborhood. I am Ben Jammin' Straley, your host, and my co-host, the Black Russian. I haven't been on for a while. I know, sometimes art can't be forced. I really love doing this, but I'm going to bare my soul a little bit here. I went to the Haken show a little while ago, and I had some perfect opportunities to interview a couple of the guys in Haken. But like so many other people, sometimes I freeze because I don't really sometimes have the self-confidence to take the next step. Sometimes I freeze. Sometimes I wish I could do more. But that's not what the theme of this episode is about, though. By the way, the Haken show was a great show, and I want to do a review of that too. But emotionally, where I was at this week was that 2016 was actually a pretty good year for me. But we lost so many artists in 2016. And one, even though we lost him last February, one of the ones that really hit me hard recently is, and I'm only going to say his name once. I'm born and raised in the Pacific Northwest and never spoken another language in my life. I went through a lot of research just to try to do this right one time. Piotr Grodzinski. Grodzinski, sorry. I know I butchered it, but I really did try. I did a lot of research to try to see if I could pronounce that right. But the guitar player for Riverside. And Riverside's music has really been capturing more and more of my imagination lately, because I listened to their first album today, Out of Myself, and I really forget how great some of the early stuff is, but also their more recent material, which has fallen under some, I've heard a lot of people say they're not really digging on it. I think I'm going to be attempting to do an album review series of their stuff. I'm going to be going over Out of Myself in the near future, and then Second Life Syndrome. I have yet to get the third one. I never did get the third one, but I'm going to solve that this week. Then ADHD, which is the one that made me a permanent die-hard fan. This is my favorite album. But then, after that, they really kind of took a left turn and they started going for much more atmospheric things. And at first, I just wasn't getting into it. Memories in my head had some moments, but man, the more I spun it, the more it was really getting into me. And the more I liked it. Shrine of New Generation Slaves, again, more of the same. It was weird. I had a tough time getting into it at first, but the more I spun it, the more it just started to build in me, and especially the second disc of the jam sessions that I was just really digging on it, and then it all kind of coalesced into this. Love, Fear, and the Time Machine. It wasn't quite, I feel like it captured a little bit more of the hooks of the earlier stuff while maintaining the atmosphere that they had done on Memories in My Head and Shrine of New Generation Slaves. I will be fascinated. The newest album, the first released since the death of Piotr in February, just came out in September. I haven't picked it up yet, but I'm fascinated. This is certainly, if you are into more, think early Pink Floyd, think some of Steven Wilson's instrumental material from the early days, and even Jim Matheos from Fate's Warning and some of his more atmospheric works that he's released in the past. You really have to be into, there's almost a new age sense to it. and it's about creating space and still not being like this. It's hard rock still, but it's a little bit more about creating the space in your mind and creating the space in the art. And I'm starting to get more an idea of it's more about what you don't play. But I can be in different moods at different times. And as we head into the winter months, I guess the atmosphere of Riverside just started to get in here. And I reflected on the fact that the men in Riverside, they lost a close friend. And everyone who knew him lost a friend, a brother, a son, an artist. And even though it's been 10 months now, I think life just started to slow down, and I was just really in a Riverside mood, and all of a sudden it just really touched me. So a lot of things have happened in this last year, and I guess I just wanted to send an open letter out to the rest of the guys in Riverside and say, what can you say? When you say I'm sorry for your loss, it can seem so empty, because I remember when I lost my father about 6 or 7 years ago. I don't even think about it anymore. That's why I don't. But people line up and they're telling you, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm sorry for your loss. And pretty soon the words start to lose meaning just because you're hearing it all the time. But then when you really take the time to go, people really do mean it, and they just don't know what to say. They're feeling something in here, but what can you say? What can you say when you've lost somebody so close to you? So, being in that situation helped me to sympathize a little bit more with those who are on the other side of the situation. What can you say? And the only thing you can say is you can try and pull it up from inside and just go, you know what, I don't even know you, but I've felt the pain of losing a friend. And I've felt the pain of losing a relative. And I'm very sorry for your loss. And I think all of us as music fans really appreciate that the art won't die. The art will never die. So thank you, all of you in Riverside, for continuing to move forward and honoring Piot's memory. So I'll be going through some Riverside reviews in the upcoming weeks, and I hope that you'll be joining me, and maybe even look at a year in review in the near future. So thank you, Riverside. Thank you to all you fans of the Jam Dudes neighborhood. I will be seeing you in the near future. Check out Riverside's albums, and maybe we can talk about them together.